SMS marketing, there's just all types of voices in this industry. So some of you guys know, obviously I'm the founder of Smarter Contact. My name is Adam Nasir. I built this software years ago. And actually a funny story, I initially built the software like 4 or 5 years ago, and before anybody was even out doing this. I built it and I just saw how effective text message marketing would be if you're using it compared to other slower forms of marketing. It's just, it took fire. So I was one of the pioneers in the space. When I first built it, nobody was doing it. Many people tried to copy what we do, and many people tried to imitate our product, but really very hard to do it on a high level. And over the last 3, 4, or 5 years, 3, 4 years plus, I've learned a lot because I've not only transitioned as a real estate wholesaler, but now I transitioned as a tech founder, and learning many things on how to build not only an SMS platform, but one that operates well with a good UI and all the things that you guys like, but also getting things and getting the messages past the carriers. And this is like the hardest art to master. It's like, you got to have a black belt at this. We have engineers on engineers here. And so I live, for some of you guys, some of you guys follow my story and you guys follow me on Instagram and that kind of stuff. I live in Eastern Europe. The reason I live here is because my development team is here. I hire the smartest data scientists, smartest engineers, smartest developers to build out the best product. So what you guys see as Smarter Contact, our team really busts our ass, for lack of a better term, to bring you the best product out there. And it really is what's under the hood. So that's going to be what this is going to be about, because there are a few changes in the industry, which are important to take note of, but there's also a lot of misinformation. And, it's my responsibility as a legitimate and a product owner that has a very legitimate business, and also somebody that has tons of experience, to not be drowned out by people that don't know what they're talking about, or some of the imitators in the space that don't have as much experience and may give up on it so quick. So I created a quick presentation. My style, I'm not going to bore you to death. I'm not going to do one of these long 45-minute plus hour and a half long presentation. I'm to the point, right? I built this to be a quick, easy app for you guys to hit leads fast. So I'm going to be straight to the point in this, and we'd love your feedback. And then at the end, we'll reserve a Q&A. So at the end with the Q&A, we'll have a place for you guys to answer your questions. Anything you want to know about what I presented, or the future of SMS, what we're doing, I'm happy to get that answered for you. So without any further ado, I'm going to pull that up here. Send and cool, share screen. All right. So can everybody see my slide?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So again, the point of this is SMS marketing, right? We have built something that I'm extremely proud of. This has been my life's greatest work. I've spent the last 4+ years building something that I'm extremely passionate about. It has definitely changed my life, and it's changed the lives of many, many users around the country that have done really well using it. So, along this journey, it has been the most rewarding experience of my life. I personally have done so much with it, and I feel very passionately about this industry. So that's why, I really wanted to get ahead of this today and make sure that we put all the information out of what's to come here in SMS. So without any further ado, want to talk to you guys about some changes. So the first thing happening is the carriers, right? So we've always had this issue with carriers, right? Trying to get the numbers to send out, getting your messages through, getting your messages delivered, right? This is the biggest issue. I mean, some of you guys, maybe have been with us for a couple of years, some of you guys are brand new, but we have a reputation for having by far the highest delivery of any platform. And that's not a sales pitch. That's a fact. People go to every single platform and they come back to us for a reason. And even though these new changes they're about to take place haven't taken place yet, we still far and beyond had the best delivery rate because we realize it's what's under the hood. It's the algorithm that goes into it. So the changes are coming from the carriers, and basically what they're saying is, and especially what influenced it was the latest round of what I'm hearing is the elections. Is there's just all types of garbage going out there on these messages. I mean, there's stuff going out with links all day long. There's like even worse than sending out a cold text message. Like literally, people are selling all types of different things on these channels, and it's in the best interest of the carrier to protect their customers. And the way they do that is they're all getting together slowly to protect their customer and require more authentication and basically know your customer upfront before sending campaigns. So the name of the change is going to be A2P 10VLC, and you could look that up. To be clear, it has not taken place yet. So this is one thing that's misconstrued is people are so fearing about this. It has not taken place yet. And I can get into the timeframes of when it's going to happen, how much time we have, all this kind of stuff. So now the requirements from carriers, what they're going to start requiring, right? It makes sense, an opt-out message. So you guys see this last week, we added the opt-out messaging into the platform. So basically on every initial message that goes out, it's going to say, to unsubscribe, please reply stop, and to unsubscribe. So user sends stop, it's going to remove that message so that that number is no longer going to be able to deliver. And on the Smarter Contact now, it's going to track that number as well, where it'll no longer send to that number, and it'll scrub that out. The other thing is registration for your entity. So they are going to start requiring this from you guys, your information, website, tax ID, message something. They are saying that we need this. We're fighting back, and we will see how this plays out. I'm not guaranteeing that we're going to have to make you guys do this, but this is something potentially down the road that we may have to face. So for now, we're kind of at a place where we're trying to work with what we have. And for now, the platform works perfectly, but this is a potential not so distant future, and we're trying to figure out the best and most efficient way around it. Every SMS platform, so everybody that's sending out text messages, is going to be required to go through this process. And again, it's not now. It could be a few months from now. It could be a year from now. We don't know the time frame, but at some point, it is going to be a little bit harder in SMS at some place in the future. And again, why carriers are wanting to enforce, they want to do this because they want to protect their customers. Number two is they want to improve the delivery rates. So by going through this process, it'll actually improve your delivery rate and make it easier to send out. And one thing I learned over the last couple of years is that the carriers are not perfect. They're far from perfect, actually. They have so many gaps in what they do. And imagine a big, heavy monster that's been built for so many years. It's like, it's not rigid, it's not loose, right? Like Smarter Contact, we're a small company, we're very loose, we adapt. Carriers like Verizon and AT&T, they take a long time to move. And what's actually really interesting about this is there's multiple carriers involved. So when you're talking about huge companies like AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, for them to agree on terms takes months, years, and a long time. A lot of attorneys, it takes a very, very long time. And what I realized even assessing their processes is they're far from perfect. There's so many imperfections in what they're doing, which actually makes me very optimistic. I would say not very, but I feel pretty optimistic that we not necessarily are in a place where SMS is over, but we have, I think, definitely some time here where we're going to keep things going for as long as possible. And I can guarantee you that. So let's go into the next piece of it. When will it take effect, right? So when were they going to start asking for this information? You guys may not want to provide that, and that's understandable because of the nature of the business. But if you do, and we have attorneys on staff that have already looked at this, they're saying, okay, what's it going to cost, and then when is it going to be, right? So it's projected to be later this year, right? It's projected. They initially told us June 1st, and they extended it indefinitely, and they've been extending it even before this. So it was initially supposed to be for March 1st. They extended it to June 1st. And with the nature of this, as many carriers as there should be some kind of delay. I mean, it keeps getting delayed and pushed back. So realistically, my guess, if I had to, get bet on this, I would say probably by the end of the year, I would bet that all users are required to do it. But again, there are ways around this, and that's what I'm going to get into in a later point. So I don't want to scare you guys, but I'm going to tell you that I can promise you that we are doing everything possible to go around it, just like we always have in the past. So why carriers are wanting to enforce carriers' responsibility to protect their customers and improve delivery rates, how it would affect real estate investors. Now, this is really cool because, guys, I was an investor too for 8 years. I bought and sold hundreds of houses. I did this for a long time. And one thing that I learned as being an investor is I have to be resourceful, and I have to think on my feet and always adapt. And I'm always looking for that little hole to squeeze through that I can take advantage of. And that's what this business has been. You guys don't really see my side of the business, but this whole business is making it work and kind of playing this cat and mouse game with the carriers. And that's what we plan to do. Is we plan to do this for as long as possible. And I can give you guys some details behind that and why. So how it affects Smarter Contact. Still to this day, texting is the best ROI of any marketing channel. Of any marketing channel out there, texting is by far the best ROI in terms of spend. And this is what I think is the biggest piece is, some of you guys are coming from different text providers. Maybe you guys are, I'm not going to say ABC text company or whoever you're using, but historically, we've always come out on top in every tough situation. So delivery rates, there is bar none. I don't care who is out here that claims they have a high delivery rate. There's nobody that even comes close to Smarter Contact. That's a fact. Ask our customers or ask anybody who's been with any of the other popular texting platforms in real estate. We deliver. And we deliver because we have a team of 12 engineers or 10 plus engineers in Eastern Europe that are working very hard to build you the best product. This isn't something slapped together. This is Coca-Cola. This is the real deal. And we spend a lot of time on making sure that we've tested everything. We've gone through all the best ways to get your messages across. So in every single facet of this in our history, the last 3+ years, we've delivered on providing you the highest quality, but also keeping the price reasonable. But on the quality side, we have a very strong history of this. And that's why I'm very excited for this challenge ahead, because this is something that I don't believe our competitors are going to be able to do the same way. And this is one of the biggest opportunities I think is ahead. So potential benefits. Okay, well, I guess let's go into how it would affect you. So SMS is still best ROI, and for what you spend, it's still the best ROI. So now you are going to notice you're going to have opt-out messaging in your messages. That is something that is required by the carriers, and we did add that to start. The phase 2 that I mentioned, that's going to be a little later, maybe this summer or next year, where they're going to start asking for your information, your company information to register. That's later. But for now, we are using opt-out messaging. If it's a complete deal breaker for you for opt-out messaging, obviously we thought about that, and there's a potential way. Reach out to customer service, and we can help you address that situation. But we did add that to make sure that the messages are going through. And again, I got to repeat here. I got our history. The numbers speak for themselves. We have, the highest delivery of anybody in the market, not even close. And that's just one of the many things that we do. One of the biggest points too I want to mention is texting right now is at really a peak of effectiveness. A lot of people have stopped using it recently, but what we notice is people are picking up a lot more deals because people are home. Right now there's COVID, everybody's at home. Nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to go out. And people are doing a lot more business virtual. People are a lot more business in their own home or in their own comfort. So, even though like you might hear all this fluff about this, guys, people are still closing a lot of deals doing text message marketing. So it's not really going to change. It's just, it might weed out the weak of your competitors in your market. But in reality, if you're doing it and doing it right, there's no reason you shouldn't be closing 4 or 5 deals a month. So, and then the other piece of this, and actually this is one huge thing, is a lot of carriers, a lot of other text carriers have just poor delivery rates. Like this, the engine underneath does not work well. They might have a good sales pitch or a good sales team that's going to pitch you and sell you the dream, but they're just not getting the messages through. So for you to, if you're using Smarter Contact and your competitors are using, I'm not going to say any names, then you already have an advantage because you're sending messages to people that they aren't. So new software updates that we are excited about and what's coming. So first off, the lookup feature. This is going to be really cool where when you upload your list right away, there's a scrub where you can scrub DNC, you could scrub duplicates, all these kind of things. Now there's going to be a verification against the carriers where you can verify if it's a legitimate number, right? So you go in, you upload 1,000 phone numbers, and we're going to tell you each phone number and verified with T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, all the carriers, if it is a legit number or not, and then it removes that number. And here's the advantage. The advantage in doing that is it's going to require less phone numbers to send out a campaign. And this is what's really cool. The less phone numbers you have, the less monthly cost you have. Also the higher delivery, and then also the reduced cost. So this is just really big. And then what you can also do is take that same list where you verified the numbers, and now you can export it into a different campaign, let's say for texting or for cold calling or any other marketing channel. So the time frame on that, we're looking to bring that out next week. We're in final testing of that. So I try to always be conservative, but yeah, I think by end of next week, we'll have the lookup feature. We'll announce that as well. That'll be really cool. Opt out and initial messages, we did add that in. It is required. There is an override for pro and elite members, but that is something that, it requires an extra charge because we incur a lot more fees. So we do have to add that in, but keep this in mind that, of the platforms out there, there are significantly more expensive platforms that don't have anywhere near the delivery rate that we have. So we're already quite cheap, and we're only adding the override per request only for members who want to pay the addition. But even with that, you'll still be cheaper than anybody else, than some of the higher priced providers in the market, and still with the highest delivery. Also, we've been working on some updates to the platform, a new version on it that is that we've been very excited to work on as well. So that's another big piece to it. So in conclusion, I don't know if you guys ever saw the Wolf of Wall Street. We say the show goes on. You guys believed in me from the very beginning, probably watching that video, and I am not one to ever quit on anything or anybody. If there's anybody that's at the head of this to make sure that we keep this thing going for as long as possible, it is me. I can guarantee you that I will find every nook and cranny, every corner, every trick that I learned as a wholesaler to keep the show going on as long as possible. That's number one. Number two is it's not affecting you right now. Right now, it's not affecting you. If you're having a poor delivery rate, let's say you're using another carrier, that's your platform. Or maybe there's something wrong with your messaging in your list. But if you are having that, reach out to our customer service. Also, the timeline is in our favor. We could have 6 months, we could have a year, we could have 18 months. Who knows? I really don't want to count anything out. I already seen a message from one of our competitors, I would say probably the most well-known, and it was a really depressing message where I just didn't. I would never quit on a channel like this. The time is really in our favor. Also, carriers are very weak in their ability to come together and agree on terms. That's another big piece to this. we're quite good at what we do. I'll tell you that. We're really, really good at what we do. So I can guarantee you that we're gonna go down without a fight for as long as possible. But for the time being, we're still going. Things going well. My advice is keep marketing, guys. Keep marketing no matter what. Always market. We still have this channel for who knows how long. It could be 12 months, 18 months. We don't know. But I also recommend utilizing additional marketing channels as well. We offer resources for direct mail. We offer resources for skip tracing, for virtual assistants. We have all types of different resources for you guys to be successful. So there's really no excuse, but I do recommend not having just one. So, over the next year, we'll see what happens, and I'll have one of these again in 12 months or 6 to 12 months. We'll see what happens. But I do recommend also having different marketing channels. Track your delivery rate. Our delivery rates across the board have been very good. So we haven't seen any dip in that range. But if you do have anything that's low, we have a really rock star team to help you. So customer support is always there. And guys, leverage the opportunity. Maybe some wholesalers might be fearful and think that there's, it's doomsday for SMS. It's not. And that actually means less people in your market are taking advantage of it. There's plenty of people and plenty of resources out there where people are still doing quite well in SMS marketing. So guys, I wanted to quickly clear that up, and now I'm gonna just set up for a Q&A. Hopefully that answered at least some of the questions and some of the fears, because there's just so many gurus out there that don't know really what they're talking about, and everybody wants to sound smart. So I really wanted to clear that up today for you guys. But no, SMS is still going on. The show goes on, baby. So we'll keep you guys posted over the next 3 months, 6 months, as long as we keep getting new information. But for now, everything is going, and we keep the show going. So, all right, cool. Okay, we got some questions here. So what are the ramifications, Alex? Okay, what are the ramifications if we decide to override the opt-out message with the upgrade? Why is it an additional cost? Okay, if we just, it's really, for us, it's really just keeping our account in good standing, that we do require most of our users to add it. That's really the reason, is we really want most of our users to be using it, and there's some risk that's associated with it. So not really to you, there's not really too much additional risk in terms of sending it out without the opt-out. It's really more for our account, which we fight very hard to keep, and we spend a lot of money with our text providers to keep. So it's more about keeping our provider happy by most of our user base, but we do allow a certain portion if they want to pay for it. And the additional cost depends on the plan you're on. So if you're on Pro, it's $149. If you're on Elite, it's $199, and then that allows that to be taken care of. So hopefully that answered it. And that's just an example of we always try to think 2 steps ahead, with this cat and mouse game that we play here with SMS marketing. So that's just an example. But yeah, that's basically a breakdown of it. Question: what is the source that it's being pushed back? Ken, I don't understand that question. If you can ask that again. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. David, if a lead has 5 phone numbers and they opt out, does the opt out all phone numbers or just the one? No, just the one. Yeah, David, great question. That's a really, excellent question. So if a lead has 5 phone numbers, it's just going to opt out the one phone number that was associated with that opt out, not all 4. Great question. Other than customer service, what resources are available to better sculpt your messaging in order to improve delivery rates? Bradley, awesome question. Daniel, can you link, I don't know if you can find the video that I did. There's one that I did on crafting the best tutorial.
Yeah, was it the one, all about your intro messages?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me find that and post it in the comments for everyone.
Yeah, and what we found too is like a lot of these other carriers are saying you can't use certain words like sold, cash buyer, interested, invested, investor, and it's total. Sorry for lack of a better term, it's bullshit. It really is bullshit. We tested it, and it really is their platforms. And these same people are trying to put a word out there that SMS is dead, and it's not. You can use these words, but it really comes down to crafting the right message. So just a quick tip, I guess, from what we learned is you don't want to sound plain. Like you don't want to sound like, hey, John, I saw your property. I want to buy it. Like something that has some really great personality that shows who you are, right? Like I if I'm doing business with someone, I want it to be someone that I have a connection with, right? So something that makes someone smile or something that is funny or something that has your personality is going to get a much higher response rate than just like, hey, John, would you be interested in a cash offer on 123 Main Street? It's like, nah, that's boring. So, but yeah, Daniel, if you could link that here in the chat, it's 10 minutes and it'll make you a lot of money. Believe me, that will be the best ROI on 10 minutes you can make. Obviously, you can see I'm straight to the point. I won't waste your time. And I can basically tell you like some good examples of what to send, what not to send. The opener is the best part because this is like, if you haven't like went in and like perfected your openers, like the openers are where the juice is. Like this is the most effective piece. Like this is like your rifle, So yeah, tweak your openers a little bit and that'll engage it better. Yeah, so hopefully, Bradley, that answered your question. I really hope, Bradley, that was a good answer, but yeah, that video should help. All right, Chloe Wolf, that's a cool name, actually. Are we able to touch on the errors in sending the campaign being sent every day? I'm running to error to all the messages. It states telephone error. Got it. Chloe, yes. Our team is working on it now. I know they're pushing something to production on that. I'll tell you what, I can get you an answer after the call. If you don't mind writing me your email address, I'll give you an answer, an exact timeline on that. I'm pretty sure we're almost finished on that. But I can give you an answer on that specifically. Armani, from your perspective, don't you think having the opt-out actually helps you with uninterested sellers? Why get rid of it, Well, it's just giving people option, I'm kind of an unlimited kind of person. Like I never want to limit you guys and say, hey, you can't do this, you can't do this. Like, because, 10% of our customers, they do want to get rid of it. So, I figured, okay, well, if I hate a restrictive platform like that. That was never my goal, is to build something that says you can't do something. So for the people that want to remove it, we put an option in front of them to do so. Chloe again, also, are many people having success with the opt-out included in the messaging since it started? I have not gotten a bite from anyone. We have not gotten any data on that yet. Have you noticed a drop? That'd be interesting. I'd love to have a call. But we haven't had any data. I know all of our competitors have been doing opt-out. Again, not saying any names, but all the big names and in this industry have been doing it. We've been fighting it for as long as possible and just added it. And it seems like most people are doing fine. So I would think it's very likely your messaging in there or delivery, right? I would check both. But well, I can have Kevin and our team take a look at your account and see, what all is going on there. David, our optimization only be included on the initial, or do you need to go? No, David, good question. Great question. Yes, it's only on the initial message. So the first time you message someone, it'll have the opt-out. If you ever message them again, even on a different brand new blast campaign, the system is intelligent. It'll know that you've messaged them and the opt-out will not be included. Great question. No follow-up messages. Can you go over all the services you guys offer? Samuel, I would love to. I would love to, but in respect of everyone's time here, we have a bunch of people that logged in from all over. I will not do it on this call. but we have tons of videos on anything you need. Drop your email and I will make sure personally that my team gets you any content you need, or a training where you can get up to speed from someone on our team. Daniel, can you coordinate with Samuel and get him any resources he needs?
Yep, got his email right here.
Awesome. Thanks, man. If we pay for the opt-out delete, will that affect delivery rates? No. To our knowledge, it's still being tested. We think it may change, but it's probably fractional. So it's not anything that's going to be massive because the delivery rates have been fairly high. We're still testing that because it's just been so new. So BM, I can't say yet. Under what is opted? Is a lead that has opted out. Man, I wish I got you guys on like video. If anyone wants to volunteer to ask the question on video, because it's just more fun and engaging. I hate to be like Mr. Public Speaker here, but all right. Is a lead that has opted out automatically scrubbed from all future campaigns, or does it require an additional step on our end? No, it's automatically. So Jordan, great question. If you go to list management, in list management, it'll show you all the leads that have been scrubbed out. So that will show you there, and you can actually export that and send it somewhere else as well. So awesome, Chloe. Chloe, glad to help. Yeah, again, this is the value of what you have. I mean, we're not just selling you text messages, guys. We're here. Me, Daniel, Kevin, Greg, the whole team. Like, we are way ahead of this. I mean, listen, this affects everybody, right? There's many texting platforms out there, but my responsibility is to do way above and beyond for you guys, like we always have, and two, like I said, I'm keeping this show going as long as possible. So yeah, no, Chloe, glad to help. Peter, is the $199 fee for one time or ongoing opt out? It is ongoing. If you're an elite, it's $199. Pro is $149 ongoing. It's fine. I went to the videos. Our fees have been crazy high lately, so it's the only way to compensate. We had a lot of questions. I love it. We pay for the opt-out delete. Will that affect? We already asked that. Sam Brown. All right, guys. So Daniel posted the winning sales copy. Highly recommend it. I think it's max 15 minutes long. I hate those long YouTube videos where they rant and ramble and don't tell you shit. So I'm not that kind of guy. I'll tell you the secret sauce here. So I recommend it. It's pretty fast. It's pretty quick and be able to give you good details on how to optimize it. What else? Guys, so anybody want to come on stage and talk and ask a question? Because be happy. So just raise your hand if you're interested in coming on stage and asking a question. Have you ever had an issue with phone numbers not showing up when uploading lists? To my knowledge, no. To my knowledge, no. I mean, that could be just a one-off thing. So we got some stuff in the Q&A. What are the information? Okay, so it looks like we have some of these. Yeah. So that's the bulk of it. Hopefully that answers any questions. And again, there's just so much misinformation. So really want to prevent misinformation. So again, guys, appreciate it. What questions do you guys have about this? We do see this 10 DLC thing coming out, later this year. I mean, if I had to guess, and for me, I just look at all the moving parts, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they're eventually going to do this. And when they do this, it's not going to be perfect. We're going to still find the holes. We're still going to do what we do. So I really project we'll probably have 12 to 18 months where we're kind of operating in the same way. That's my guess, is about 10 with 10 DLC. So my guess is 12 to 18 months, because carriers are not as good as you may think. There's always ways around this. So, I mean, in the long term, I'm not so bullish in the long term, but yeah, in the short term, we've got some time. It's called 10 DLC. So 10 D is in dog, LC. Sweet. So guys, if that's it, I'll just say this. This is the best opportunity of our lives. This is the best opportunity of your entire life one of the best opportunities to raise capital and make money. It is really outstanding how, people that are new to wholesaling, people that have, they're 22 years old, they're making $200,000, $300,000 a year. I mean, it's amazing. So, very honored for all the people that have done so well, but just know that we keep this going for you guys and use this for what we have it. All the tools are there. All the training is there. And if you're not doing at least 2 or 3 deals a month, please reach out to us. We definitely want to help you get on that path. So guys, without any further ado, I think we're good for today. We have two more questions. Why do the carriers consider our industry to be A to P, not P to P? Well, it's technically app to peer because what Albert Slatman, and I think it's Buzz is your nickname if I'm not mistaken. App to peer and peer to peer. So app to peer is smarter contact. So basically, you guys are using smarter contact. Smarter contact is sending the message. That's app to peer. Peer to peer is you text, like Albert, you text me directly. That's peer to peer. So that's the difference with this. Yeah, you could run through 800 numbers for sure. You could run through 800 numbers. That's another way you can do it, but they're adding more fees to it. It depends, Armani, on what you're looking for. If it's technical support or you're just looking for help on like strategy, reach out. The best person to reach out to if it's strategy is Kevin at smartercontact.com. I'll give you his email. He's amazing. He's actually a wholesaler and he works in-house for us. Reach out to Kevin at smartercontact.com. He'll get on a one-on-one with you and he'll get everything right for you on your leads as well. So highly recommend a call with him. Now that I posted it, everybody's going to hit him up. So, but yeah, so that's really the big piece there. Another question here. Assuming everyone has the number we text from connected to an actual phone number. Just curious, my phone blows up at all hours of day, these numbers. Yeah, I mean, you always want to answer the calls that come in. So Chloe basically asked if you want to answer calls, like speed to lead is really important. You want to respond to a lead as soon as you can. That's going to give you a higher chance of closing a deal. So cool, guys. So without any further ado, I just wanted to just announce that this is something that I wanted to get in front of and talk to you guys about today. But like I said, the show goes on as planned, and feel free to reach out to us directly if you guys have any questions at all. We are more than happy to help, and we're very honored to continue to serve the real estate investor community and provide you guys the best product out there. So peace, guys. Much appreciated on your attention here today.